Hello, Joy. I'm glad to have you back today. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good deal. Now, did you get some of your homework done that I had assigned with you?
I did.
Okay. Well, before we go through that list, did you have any moment this week where you had to do any public speaking?
Yes, I was assigned to train the other officers that I work with on a field app that we created.
Mm-hmm.
I did it with another coworker, and we were supposed to train everybody else.
I see. Okay. So was it distressing, or did you have better luck this time of how it went?
Oh no, it was very distressing. With I just get so nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I get so nervous before I have to stand up in front of people.
Yeah.
For some reason, if it's in a room of strangers, like an interview,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so much better. But when it's with people that I work with daily or I interact with daily, I don't know, I just have so much anxiety about it.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so you had to do this, and so it obviously, if you were to rate that from 1 to 10, how distressing was this event when you had to do it last?
10.
Really? I mean, just as much. Okay. All right. So through the exercise that I had you do at home, did you write down a list of things that you do in the moment that you try to do that alleviates the problem?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I wrote a few things down.
Okay. I'm eager to hear them.
It's that classic one that they tell you from the time you have to get up and for whatever you have to do, that if you stand up in front of a group of people, you're supposed to imagine that they're all in their underwear.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that.
Okay.
Didn't work.
Okay. It didn't work. All right. What else did you have on the list?
I knew what I was going to have to present, and for days beforehand, I would go over it in my head and stand in front of a mirror and just say the script, thinking that if the more I prepared, that I wouldn't forget.
Mm-hmm.
But then I get so anxious that when it's time for me to actually say something, all of a sudden my mind goes blank.
Mm-hmm. So it actually caused you more anxiety to try to do that.
Yes, it did.
Okay. Did you have anything else on the list?
I tried deep breathing, right before I know that I'm going to have to say something. I try to take really deep breaths and let them out slowly, and to try to slow my heart rate down. And it works maybe for a split second, but then I immediately will start to, obsess over it,
Mm-hmm.
and the fear just comes right back.
Yeah. So it causes you to obsess over it even more whenever you try to do these things that actually when you try to diffuse the moment and alleviate the anxiety, it gets worse. Is that correct?
Yes, it does. And, I guess the last thing I wrote down was that, I just, up until the moment, I try to think about other things.
Mm-hmm. And that doesn't help.
That didn't help me.
Okay. So through this exercise, the reason why I had asked you to write down some things was simply because you've already stated within yourself that it obviously did not alleviate any of the problems. It didn't alleviate your anxiety. It didn't alleviate the stress and the feelings and the emotions that it causes when you try to get in front of people, when you try to speak. It doesn't help.
Right.
And so with me asking you to do this exercise, I think it really shows that those kind of self-help steps don't really work in alleviating the problem. So because of that, that's why I asked you to do that. And so one thing I'm going to ask you just simply to do today while you're here, because of that, is I want you to rip that piece of paper out. Because it doesn't help. So we're no longer going to do the list because it doesn't help. Okay. And we're going to do that simply because I think there's a new role, a new identity that Joy is going to have in this with accepting the fear that you have. And I think through counseling and through different things that we're going to do throughout time will help you to be able to have more of a better identity and a self-confidence with being able to accept the fact that you do have an anxiety of public speaking, but you do well at it. and you're going to have a better confidence of being able to adapt to your anxiety in that. And so would you be willing throughout different sessions with me to be able to learn how to accept that? I've got several.
Yes, because obviously nothing I've done has worked.
Exactly, and that's why I wanted you to do that, for you to see, because no self-help things that you can do can actually alleviate the problem. And because of that, there's all types of ways there's all types of exercises that we can do to empower you to, see yourself of actually being a good speaker, but also accepting the fact that you have a fear of it, and that you may always have a fear of it. It may never go away. And so would you be willing to do an exercise today? I have an exercise on emotions, some 9 emotions that are just normal responses and normal emotions that I would like to do with you today, that just will help you have a better understanding of what's normal in feeling a certain type of emotion. Would you be willing to do that today?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, Joy, we're going to do this exercise today that will help you kind of get a better understanding of some real emotions that you experience. I think it would be very helpful today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a list of 9 basic emotions with you. There's a debate that most experts tend to agree with on these basics, so I'm going to name some emotions, and what you're going to do is you're going to give me a thumbs up if it's a good emotion to you, and a thumbs down if it's a negative emotion to you. So let's see here. Love. Okay. Joy. Curiosity. Anger. Fear. Sadness. Guilt. Shock. Okay, disgust. Okay, those were the emotions that I had, and through that, 6 of the 9 emotions you put thumbs down for, and which is very interesting because those are normal human responses. Because of that, human responses and emotions. So because of that, I think this exercise is good and is helpful just for you to just know that those are normal human emotions that everyone experiences. Every person that you even encounter with in public speaking has those responses. And even to think, I know, for example, on the list you gave me earlier, that to think of everyone being exposed and being naked. I know that may not help alleviate the problem, but in a sense, if you can think of everyone experiencing these emotions, of everyone experiencing curiosity, anger, fear, sadness, guilt, shame. Fear is a huge response that everyone has in different ways. And so I think that could even, in a sense, help you kind of accept that you're not the only one with fear. You are a person that has fear with public speaking, but you are not the only person, but you happen to be one person who experiences fear. And so I think that that exercise just kind of will show you that those are just normal responses.
And it's not just me.
Exactly. It's not just you. And they're normal. Totally normal from anybody that experiences any type of emotion. You are normal.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to do a mindfulness exercise if that's all right. I think it would be helpful for you.
Sure.
Okay. All right, I'm going to read some things aloud, and I would like you to sit up straight and kind of follow the prompts that have the book and how I direct you. Just go ahead and follow the prompts. Okay. So I invite you to sit upright in your chair with your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. Most people find they feel more alert and awake sitting this way, so check it out and see if this is the case for you. And either close your eyes or fix them on a spot, whichever you prefer. And take a few slow, deep breaths and really notice the breath flowing in and out of your lungs. Now quickly scan your body from head to toe, starting at your scalp and moving downward. And notice the sensations you can feel in your head, throat, neck, shoulders, chest, abdomen, arms, hands, and legs. And now your feet. Now zoom in on the part of your body when you're feeling this feeling most intensely. And observe the feeling closely as if you're a curious scientist who has never encountered anything like it before. Observe the sensation carefully. Let your thoughts come and go like passing cars, and keep your attention on the feeling. Notice where it starts and notice where it stops. Learn as much about it as you can. If you drew an outline around it, what shape would it have? Is it on the surface of the body or inside of you, or both? And how far inside does it go? Where is it the most intense? And where is it the weakest? If you drift off into your thoughts, as soon as you realize it, come back and focus on the sensation. Observe it with curiosity. How is it different in the center than around the edges? Is it light or heavy? Moving or still? What is its temperature? Are there any hot spots or cold spots? Notice the different elements within it. Notice that it's not just one sensation, there are sensations within sensations. Notice the different layers. As you're observing this feeling, breathe into it. Imagine your breath flowing into and around the feeling, breathing into and around it. As you're breathing into it, it's as if, in some magical way, all this space opens up inside of you. You open up around this feeling and you make space for it. Expand around it. However you make sense of that, breathing into it and opening up around it. See if you can just allow this feeling to be here. You don't have to like it or want it, just allow it. Just let it be. Observe it. Breathe into it and open up around it and allow it to be as it is. You may feel a strong urge to fight with it or push it away. If so, just acknowledge the urge is there without acting on it. And continue observing the sensation. Don't try to get rid of it or alter it. If it changes by itself, that's okay. If it doesn't change, that's okay too. Changing or getting rid of it is not the goal. Your aim is simply to allow it, to let it be. Imagine this feeling as an object. As an object, what shape does it have? Is it a liquid, solid, or gas? Is it moving or still? What color is it? If you could touch the surface, what would it feel like? Wet or dry? Rough or smooth? Hot or cold? Soft or hard? Observe this object curiously, breathe into it, and open up around it. You don't have to like it or want it, just allow it. And notice that you are bigger than the object, no matter how big it gets. It can never get bigger than you. This feeling tells you some valuable information. It tells you that you're a normal human being with a human heart. It tells you that you are you. That there are things in life that matter to you. And that this is what happens when humans feel, this is what humans actually feel when there's a gap between what we want and what we've got. The bigger the gap, the bigger the feeling. Now take one of your hands and place it on a part. Take one of your hands and place it on this part of your body. Imagine that this is a healing hand. The hand of a loving friend or a parent or nurse. And feel the warmth flowing from your hand into your body. Now to get rid of the feeling, not to get rid of the feeling, but to make room for it. to soften up and loosen up around it. Now hold it gently, as if it's a crying baby or a frightened puppy. And letting your hand fall, once again, breathe into the feeling and expand around it. Life is like a stage show, and on that stage are all your thoughts and all of your feelings. And everything that you can see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. And for the last few minutes, we dim the lights on the stage. And we shine a spotlight on this feeling. Now it's time to bring up the rest of the lights. So bring up the lights on your body. Notice your arms and legs and head and neck. And notice that you're in control of your arms and legs, regardless of what you're feeling. Just move them around a little to check out that for yourself. And now take a stretch and notice yourself stretching. And bring up the lights on the room around you. Now open your eyes, look around, and notice what you can see. And notice what you can hear. And notice that there's not just a feeling here. There's a feeling inside a body, inside a room, inside a world full of opportunity, and welcome back. So how did that make you feel?
Wow.
Was it relaxing? Did it enlighten you in a sense of becoming more in control of your body and your anxiety?
It actually made me feel like that feeling just is.
It exists.
It just is.
And it's you, and it's joy, and it's okay.
It's just another part of me like any other part of me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So you did find that helpful?
I did.
Good. Okay, well, we've got several more exercises. I'd like to see you come back next week if that's okay.
Sure.
There's other things that we could talk about, but I think our time is run short today, but I will see you next week if that's all right.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.